Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. This is Bryan here, your web design educator at Show Academy, and you're all very welcome to Lesson 1, Part 2, the practical session of the Ultimate Web Design course, or the Ultimate Web Design Program, or the Advanced Web Design Program. Anyway, it's the next level up for your web design training. So hello, everybody. So I'll just leave this slide up for a while because I haven't got my can you hear me slide, but I'm sure someone will figure out soon enough. So hi there, Stephen. Hi there, Shantae. Hi there, Steve. Hi there, Charlene. Hi, Chris as well. Great to have you back. Hi there, Paul. Hi there, Jeannie, Adoresh, Kate, Mariska, Chantel, Noah, Sabrina, Dina, Donna. Russell, Harmony, Christy, and Drew. Very good. Hello, everyone. Hello there, Helen. Hello there, Alaska. Hi there, hi, Dirk, and hey there, Sue, and Jacqueline as well. So very good. Abdul Rahman, Gustav, and Heinrich as well. So perfect. So we got a lot of people here tonight, and very good. And very hello to you as well, Bradley. So in this lesson, we have only got 3 slides. Yes, so in this lesson, we've only got 3 slides to get through, and then we're going to open up Atom, and we're going to code a project using our new HTML tags. And hi there to you as well there, Alan. So, very quickly, just a quick recap of this part here. So we've got file paths. So if we just a quick recap of the file paths, because all our files are going to be external. So we're going to separate our CSS. We're going to have a tiny bit of JavaScript, but we're just going to be copying and pasting JavaScript around the web into our projects so we can make good use of it. So just to recap on file paths, starting with the / returns the root directory and starts there. Starting with a .. we'll move back one directory and start from there. And then you can just keep adding those on to keep moving back directories. And then to move forward, you just start with the first subdirectory and keep moving forward. Yeah, so does that all make sense? Does that make sense enough? File paths? Perfect. All right, there's one thing to just note about the file paths. When you start with a /, yeah? So if you start with a / and you're working from a local folder, it won't return to just the root directory. Sometimes it can go all the way back to your C drive. All right, so just be aware of that. Sometimes your file paths will change between your local development and also on your when you're converting your local development to putting it up on servers, because your server will be the root, will have a root directory, while the root directory on your computer can go all the way back to the C drive. So if you're having trouble, or an image isn't loading, just start messing around with your file paths and something should work eventually. Now, let's see. No problem. All right, perfect. And some systems will take you back to your home folder. Thank you for that, Steve. Yes, so just be aware that file paths can be a bit tricky, but just stick with it and we will get through it. So, semantic HTML tags. All right, so semantic HTML tags. So we used to just have the div. Yeah, we used to have the div tag, which was fantastic. We could use that to section off all our content, and it was perfect. But the problem is that it didn't have any meaning. So you'd have a header, and that would be your div. You'd have a nav bar, and that would be wrapped in a div. You'd have your articles and your sections. They'd be wrapped in a div. You'd have your adverts wrapped in divs, and you'd have your footer wrapped in a div as well. So a browser would look at your page. They'd load it all up perfectly. They'd be able to see what's on your page, but the split up of the document wouldn't be very well defined in such a way that a browser or a search engine bot would be able to understand it. So HTML has brought out a whole bunch of new tags in HTML version 5. So we've got header, and that's used to hold information. So the header of your web page, that would be your heading 1, and maybe just a small write-up about what you're doing. You could also include your navbar inside your header if you wanted. So that's what the header tag can be used for. The nav tag is not for grouping links. It's to group your navbar, your main navbar. So your navigation bar that you use to get around the site or get around the page. That's what you can wrap in nav tags. For links or for links or external links, that would be a different thing altogether. You could wrap those almost in a div if you were just sectioning off for styling. Then we have section tags and article tags. So section tags, if you look at the example there on my screen, you can see I have a section, and then inside that section I have 2 articles. So really the thing that you ask yourself when you have a section is, does it make sense to have a header? Because every section that you write should have a header. That is the point of a section. Because and that's really the way to look at it, because what a lot of people have been doing with these new tags is they've been replacing divs with section tags, and that is incorrect. We don't just use these tags willy-nilly. These tags are not to replace the div. These are just to extend the functionality of HTML, or extend the semantics of HTML. So with a section would always have a header, and that's the way you know that you have a section. And then an article will be a self-contained content, yeah? So an article, you can almost think about, would it make sense if this section of this article of your page could be just sent as it is around the web, yeah? If that can happen, then you can use an article tag, so a self-contained piece on your web page. Then we have a side, which means something that's aside from the content, so something that really doesn't have anything to do with this page. It's just some extra content. It could be an advert, it could be a quote of the day, it could be login detail, it could be a login section or anything like that, so just a side. That's no problem at all, Marina. Very welcome to the course. And then we've also got our footer tag, and our footer tag it's just the footer, the web page footer. So that's where we can put links about, copyright, whatever copyright or license that we've released our work under, and then links to the developer and stuff like that as well. All right, so let's take a quick look here. Oh, the footer tag, F-O-O-T-E-R, not the butter tag. All right, so I've got a nice flow chart here for us to work with. So if we start here, this is what happens. So remember, so just like when we had that image flow chart to let you know should you use a GIF, a PNG, or a JPEG, this is kind of the same thing. So we're going to use this flow chart to try to decide what kind of element we should, what tag we should be using for different sections of the website. All right. So if we just start like this, and remember the order of the questions in this are important. So we can start by asking, is it the main navigation block? Yes. So first of all, is the main navigation block? If it is, you're going to wrap it in nav tags. All right. So now, if it's not the main navigation block, you're going to ask yourself another question. Does it make sense all by itself? Yeah, does this section make sense all by itself? If you had taken away all the other parts of the website, could you just print this off and just give it to someone and it would make sense? If so, well then you can use an article tag, because that's what it's for. It's for a self-contained piece on your site. So then we can use the article tag. So if it's not a navigation block, if it doesn't really make sense, all by itself, then you can ask yourself, is it crucial to the current content? Yeah? So for the rest of the page, is it crucial to the current content? Ooh. Sorry, just let me change up this very quickly. I can see that that is a red arrow. So sorry, that should be actually a green arrow. That should be a red arrow. So if you just bear with me just 2 seconds, shape outline is going to be red, please. And that shape down here is going to be green. I'll bring this back up into your view in just 2 seconds. There we go. And there. All right, so we got as far as a side. So is it crucial to the current content? If it's not crucial to the current content, if it's not crucial to the current content, we're going to have to use the side. Sorry guys, this flowchart, I'm just overthinking my own flowchart here. I think I better update that third question there. But anyway, we all know what the aside is by now. If it's not crucial to the current content, we'll use aside. All right. So could it be moved to an appendix? Yes. So your logo shouldn't be moved to an appendix. Something that could be moved to appendix is something like a photo gallery or anything. If you read any kind of history novels or anything like that, you'll always notice someplace in the middle they'll have a whole bunch of photographs or a whole bunch of images on that one page. Well, that's kind of like what the appendix is. That's what we can put in our figures. So that's what we can write up for the figure tags. Would it make sense to have a heading? Yes. So would it make sense to have a heading? Well, then we can use a section. And any other semantic weight to the content? Well, then we can use any of the other semantic HTML elements. So B would be a semantic element. Strong is a semantic element. EM is a semantic element, stand for emphasis. The other one was strong. We've got P for it to dictate a paragraph. So all of those are semantic elements. But if there is no need for semantics, say if you're just grouping a group of sections, if you wanted to say wrap your whole website in a wrapper, yeah. So have you ever heard, wrap everything on the page inside a big wrapper? Well, then you'd use a div for that. So a section would never be. You shouldn't use a section to wrap your whole web page because a section is A section is completely different, but you use a div for, say, stuff like wrappers or for styling. So if you want to target something for styling, and it's particular when you go, I want to section that off so I can style it, well then chances are you're going to almost always want to use a div for that, because you're thinking about styling. You're not thinking about the flow of the content or the makeup of the content. Articles do not always go inside sections. No, articles don't go inside sections. Articles can be inside sections, and sections can be inside articles. Now, here's the thing, guys, and ready for this, because there is a debate on the internet on how to use articles and sections. Now, the processes that I just told you there are the most commonly kind of way that we use articles and sections. So does it make sense by itself? Then you can use an article. Would it make sense to have a heading? You can use a section. There are people arguing whether you can have sections inside articles within sections and stuff like that, and how we use them. But honestly, it doesn't really matter too much in these early days of everyone using this language. So if it makes sense using this flowchart, you are on the right track. All right, so it's that simple. If it makes sense by using this flowchart, well, then you're on the right track. You don't really need to overthink it. But anyway, we're going to get a bit of practice now just to see how we mark up a page using these tags. All right, so let's see. Yes, you'll figure it out. If you're in the web design, well, then you're going to be Googling it anyway. You're going to still wait. You'll just discover it, because once you start web designing, then all the adverts are going to be tailored to your web design skills, and you're going to get all those articles on Facebook is going to send you more web design articles, more graphic design articles and debates and stuff like that. So you've got all that ahead of you, and that will keep you up to date anyway. And yes, Helen, give it another 10 years and people will still be arguing about the semantic. Because remember, semantic, it has meaning, and meaning can be subjective. So that is a problem here with these semantic tags. We're trying to merge computers and human thought all together, so it doesn't always work very well. All right, so let's open up our Atom application. Where are you, Atom? ATOM, Atom. So here is my Atom application. So there's that. I'll let that load up over there. All right, so that was my UWDP. Let's see inside here. What's inside here? Perfect, yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay away from this boilerplate just for now, because there's a lot of code there that will confuse us while we're just working with these new tags. So we'll come back to this in the next lesson. We'll come back to using these, or even we can even convert the we could even just copy and paste the sections that we make today into this boilerplate. And in fact, that's actually what we'll do at the end of the lesson. We'll just make a nice simpler document to work with, just so we can get used to using these new tags and make sure that we're getting the nesting correctly and everything like that. And then what we'll do is we'll just take the body of our site and we'll paste it in here, and then we'll just add up some metadata, just so we can keep it, just so that it's accessible to everyone out there on the course. So what I'm going to do, so the way that I like to make this project is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder inside my UWDP, the Ultimate Web Design Program folder. This is where all my developments are going to be on this course, and I am going to call this HTML Club CLUB 2.0. All right, so we'll just keep this in 2.0. 3.0 will be next week when we go down to mobile. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a few files in here. Now I'm on a Windows machine, so I should be able to click New and just create a text document. There we go, and I'll call this index.html. Yes, and I do want to change it. And actually, guys, before I go any further, if you're on a Windows machine, make sure you go up to View and click this here. File name extensions. If you're on a Mac, go up to Finder, which should be, if you watch my mouse, you should have your Finder option up here. Click that, go down to Preferences, and you'll be able to turn on your extensions there. You will need to have all extensions turned on so you can see what file types they are. Especially when we start adding JavaScript, your .js extensions will be hidden. So just be aware of that. So do turn on your file name extensions on your machine. All right. So now I'm going to create a new folder in here because I want to section off all my stuff. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to give this, let's see, what will I call this? I will actually call this assets. So ASSETS. So this is going to be my assets folder. And this is where I'm going to hold my CSS, my images, and my JavaScript. And then inside my assets folder, I'll create another folder. And I'll call this one CSS. And I'll make another folder. And I will call this one images. IMAGS, images. And I'll create another folder again. and I will call this JS for JavaScript. There we go. So now I've got a bit of a document going up. So now I just need to add a few more things. So I'll go into my CSS, I'll click New, I'll create another text document, and I will call this, what will I call this? I'll call this styles, my styles, STYLES .css. Yes, I would like to change the file name extension. And I'll go into my JavaScript and I'll create another new text file in here, and I'll call it my.js. Yes, perfect. So now I've got all that. Now the reason why I like to do the reason why I like to make up my folder like this before I go into here is quite simply because I can do this. I can then just grab this folder. Well, actually, I don't even need to because it's open, but I will anyway. I'll just grab it. I'll just drop it on here. And there we have it, and it's going to load it all up, and you'll see I'll have my file tree here as well. So I can see I've got all the files here. I've got my index file to start with as well. So perfect. All right. So is everyone still with me so far? Is everyone still with me? We all still good? Yeah? Yeah? All right, okay. Oh, I gotta know. Oh, well. All right, well, hopefully you're still with me. Now, of course, I will show you an alternate way. So what you can do is you can always just create the folder structure. So just create your development folder, create your assets and stuff like that, and then just open up a blank text file. Just open up a blank text file and just save it as index.html. And then just save as, and then just save another file as your CSS file, and you can just create up stuff like that. Is there a difference between Atom and brackets? Not really. No, not really. It's just a different code editor. I'd rather use Atom for this time round simply because it's less buggy. I had a few problems with brackets where I lost the window for a good 10 minutes of the course where I couldn't get my windows back in, and I almost had to turn off the whole computer to get it back. But I think Atom is actually the superior code editor for now. Anyway, for now, Atom is the superior code editor. All right, so I've clicked into my index file, so I've got my HTML Club 2.0 all loaded up here inside my Atom. Excuse me. So here we go. Perfect. There we go. All right, so as always, I'll start with my doc type, and lovely because I'm working with HTML5, so I can start with my HTML5 doc type, which is just DOCTYPE HTML. There we go. And then I will create my HTML tags, HTML. Yes, and I've got my auto closing plugin package installed there. I'm sure a lot of you have had fun finding some various packages that you can find. Oh, I'm just very quickly because some people are working alongside me. So what I'm going to do, you go up to View on your Finder window, and you'll find File Name Extensions here, and you make sure that's clicked, and then you'll see all your file name extensions. All right. Text Wrangler is a plain text editor. Yeah, Text Wrangler is a plain text editor. Atom is more like a project maker. Yeah, so Text Wrangler, imagine if I give this to introduction students, there's just so many options, there's so many things to add, so much things to do. I want you to just write in plain vanilla HTML without your self-closing tags or anything like that, force you to write the language, because this is going to be a little bit faster. All right, guys, if you can't find... oh, yeah, perfect. All right, okay. Let me just see. You can work along if you can. If you fall behind, it's no problem. You can just take a break, and then you can just follow along anyway. But anyway, let's just continue making up this document. So I've got my HTML tags. Now I'm going to start with my head tags. There we go. So there's my head tags. Inside my head, I'll add my my meta charset, META. CHARSET is going to be UTF-8, UTF-8. There we go. That will make sure that if I ever want to put Arabic characters in here, they're going to show. It's not going to show a bunch of gibberish. So there we go. And now I want to add a title, 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 and my title is going to be the HTML Club 2.0. There we have that. And next down, I'm going to have to link my style sheet. So guys, this is how we link a style sheet. What we do is we go link rel is equal to style sheet, STYLESHEET, style sheet, and then we bring a link to our style sheet. So href, and then let's see, where do we put our style sheet? We put it in assets, 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 forward slash CSS forward slash no, what did I call it? I called it my styles, STYLES dot CSS. There we go. I'll just confirm that's the correct location. So my styles dot CSS. Yep, that's that. Perfect. All right, so we've got all that going. Excellent. All right, so that's that. Now let's get down to our body. So there we go. BODY. All right, so let's see. So for our body, we're going to have to add some stuff here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add a wrapper to this. Yeah, so I want to wrap everything. So I'm just going to wrap everything in a div anyway, so I can target the whole body. So I can target the body, and then I can also target the wrapper as well. So we'll start with a div. And I'll give this a class of wrapper. WRAPPER. Perfect. All right, so there's our wrapper. I'll just clean up my document a little bit, get rid of some of the space. There we go. All right, so that's going to be my wrapper, and this is going to be where I put all the content then of my course. All right, so here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my header. Yes, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a header tag. So HEADER. That meta car set at the top. In the last lesson, I was explaining that, and if any of you were any of my Arabic students, you will have noticed that if you try to type Arabic characters and you load it up in a browser, if you don't tell the browser what kind of character set you're working with, because remember, your keys are translating into numbers, which then the browser has to interpret and then print out a graphical representation of that number on the screen, which will correlate to the word. Well, if you don't give it a car set and tell it what kind of character set you're using, what kind of conversion set you're using, it will just try to deduce it. And if you're using a weird language, or if you have any weird symbols in there without a car set, the browser will almost always mess it up. When you're writing in English, because it's Americanized English, or even even if you're writing in the Kings, well, the browser will just understand what you're doing anyway, because, well, let's face it, HTML and CSS, it's all English anyway. Same thing for Korean, it's the same thing for all languages. That's why we use this one up here. UTF-8 will give you the most amount of character sets that we can use. I'm almost guaranteed that every student that I have will be fine with the meta car set UTF-8. Alright, so now I've got my header. So I've got my header, and inside my header I'll put a title for my web page. So I'll go H1, and this will be the hidden tiger, magic, lion, club, hidden tiger, magic, lion, club 2.0. So there we go, there's my heading 1. Underneath my heading 1, and also inside my header, I'm actually going to stick my nav block inside my header. So here we go. So nav. Perfect. So nav, and let's see, how many links will I have? I'll have a few links here, so I'll go with A. Can I hit my tab? Let me see what happens if I click up here. I want that one. Hit the enter key. Can't even hit tab. Well, I'll figure that out later. So A. So my href, href, is equal to the home section. So I'm going to start giving things IDs now in a little while as well. So I already know what IDs I'm going to give them. So I'll call this my home section. And this is going to be home. And then what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste these links down, because it'll be nice and easier then. Home, that will be about. Then we'll have tickets, and then we'll have a gallery, and then we'll have a contact us section as well. So let's see, what did I say? I said home, then we'll have an about section, and then we'll have our tickets section, TICKETS, and then we will have our gallery section, GALLERY, and then we will have our contact us section, CONTACT us. Right? So I'm going to try to stay away from as many of these special features as possible, because there's so many of them, guys. So many of them. Like if you hold control and you click, well, then you can edit multiple lines at once. And then if you hold control, and then there's different ways to move backwards and different ways to move forwards, and holding alt will like move everything back. So then you can like edit multiple lines at once, you know? So crazy stuff that we can do this. But I'll try and stay away from as many of those as possible, just because they can be quite confusing, and we can just do them, and the long way will be easier, and you'll figure out the other ways as you go along anyway. So I got my home section. Here I'll put my about section, ABOUT. The next one down is going to be my ticket section, TICKET. The next one down is going to be my gallery section, GALLERY. And the next one down is going to be my contact section. All right. So a thing to note when you're writing your classes and tags, especially when you're grouping things together. So I already know that I'm going to be adding IDs to all the sections I create down here. But if you'll notice, I've got tickets, so I've got plurals and then I've got singulars as well. But you'll notice that all my IDs are following a pattern, because as you get into bigger developments, it's very annoying to keep running around to say, what kind of ID? So try to work out a pattern in your head. So here, I can remember like home section, about section, ticket section, gallery section, contact section. That's going to be nice and easy for me to remember. If I made that plural to line up with that even, well then I'd almost definitely, when I get down to actually adding those sections, I'd almost definitely call that the ticket section, just because it's just, you know how you're trying to create I want to say memory palace, but I've lost the word for what I was about to say. I've completely lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I think you understand what I want to say. Consistency, because you want a bit of consistency with your IDs and your classes, and that's not only to make them easier to find, it's also to make sure that you don't clash later on. Yep. So perfect. So that's the way I do up my IDs. I'm mixing lowercase and uppercase. That's called camel case, because it's quite hard. So that makes things easier to read. So you've got a number of code writing styles. Most frameworks will have a hyphen. We'll keep lowercase and we'll have a hyphen like that. So I stay away from hyphens in my classes and IDs. I prefer to use camel case. So that is why, because if everything is like that, well then it's very hard to read, especially when you have two words that actually make sense when they run into each other. So I use camel case in my naming convention. But again, guys, it's completely up to you. Whatever naming convention you prefer, you can capitalize the first letter and the second letter. That's still the same as camel case. I know camel case, you know, like a camel with their humps on their back. That's where it comes from. So it's known as camel case. So there we go. So we have that. All right, so now I want to add some other things down here as well. So let me just add a div. And this div is going to be my header image. So again, I'm not just going to use a section here. This is going to be a div, because I'm going to want to target this for styling later. So I'll give this a class, CLASS, so I can target it. And my class will be header, HEADER. IMAGE. The thing I used to close each one is I added one of their packages, one of their self-closing tag packages. I'm sure you'll find it there. If you Google self-closing tag package, you will find it there. ASSETS is equal to IMAGS, and that is going to be the HTML club logo.jpg. And there we go. So that's, I haven't added the image in there yet, but I will add it in. Autoclose -HTML. Thank you for that, Steve. Autoclose -HTML. I'll just post that out to everyone there now if I can. Chat. Let me know if you get this. I know that not everyone can, but let's just see. AUTOCLOSE HTML. There you go, guys. That's what you're Googling for, the autoclose, the autoclose atom package. So there we have that, and then I'll give this an alt is going to be HTML club logo. Perfect. So there's my image tag. All right, so I better go off and find those images and stick them in my folder. So there we have it. So far I've got a header. Let's save that so far. Let's throw that over there. Put you over there. And let me just see if I can find my my images here. If I just go into my actual files, Control New. Thank you. And I'll just dip into here. If I go back to my courses, and if I go into the Ultimate Web Design, no, I'll go all the way back to my root folder, and I'll find them inside here. That's where I put them. Perfect. I did keep them. All right, so I'll throw my images inside here. Perfect. I'll get around to what those hashes are now in a second. We'll just take a look at what this is so far. So if I was to open these up, and if I was to go to, there it is. So HTML, double click. So far, this is what we got. Doesn't look like much, but that's what we have. Yep. So it doesn't look like much, but that is what's there. What did I do wrong there? I must have misspelled something to stop my image from showing up. But let's just take a quick look. So desktop, UWWP. HTML Club logo. Did I capitalize the second L? No, I did not. There we go. Save. Refresh. Still nothing. HTMLCLUBLOGO.jpg. That should be it. IMAGES. Assets. IMAGES. Alt is that. Control S. Refresh the page. Image source. Did I leave out something there? SRC. Thank you very much, guys. SRC. Perfect. Thank you very much. Typing too fast. That's it there. So there we go. Refresh. There we go. Beautiful giant image there loading up. So perfect. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, so we've got something loading up there. We've got a nav bar up here. We've got our title, and we've got a giant image taking up the whole page. So let's continue on finishing our HTML document. So next section. So now I'm going to start adding some sections to this. So the first section I'm going to have is it's going to be, well, if I look at my menu structure, the first section is going to be the About section. So here we go, SECTION, section, class, CLASS, and I'll give this a class of, actually I'll leave out the class for now, I can add these in later for when I'm styling them, but I'll give it an ID anyway. So I want to give this an ID, and I want this ID to match this word up here, so About section, yeah? So I'm going to use that as my ID, because this is how we can link. So remember, there's loads of ways that we can link things. So if we put a hash before it, what this happens is that if someone clicks on that link, the page is going to jump down to the section that has that ID. So that is a link to that is an internal link. That is an on-page link. That's what that's known as. So that's why we have the hash there, because if we remember, when we target IDs in CSS, which we really shouldn't use IDs for styling, classes are really for styling. But if we want to target an ID in our CSS, well then that is what we'd use as the selector, hash home screen. So just like we use a class, it will be dot, and then whatever the class name is, an ID is targeted using the hash symbol. So there we have, section ID is equal to About section. Perfect. This should have a heading 1, and this heading 1 will be about, actually I'll make these heading 2s. There's no need to have them as heading 1s. Heading 2. So about HTML Club 2.0. Why don't I repeat the hash? I don't repeat the hash because this is selector. This is selector to say that we should target the hash. This is the name, yeah? So you'll see that this is the name. That is telling you what kind of name it is. So that's saying this is an ID, and that's the ID name. See here, ID is equal to that. So that's saying ID. The hash there isn't part of the ID. The hash there says that this is an ID. So if I was to say hash About section, well then I'd have to do hash About section, but I don't think we can use those kind of special characters in class or IDs anyway, but that's just the way that works. Alright, so About HTML Club, and inside this section I'll actually add an article as well. So ARTICLE, the article. And this article will just have a paragraph in there, and just for the sake of this, just to fill up this text, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some lorem ipsum text, LORUM So I'll just pull this into your view. Lorem ipsum. So let's just grab some lorem ipsum. There we go. And I will take, which one will I take? I will take this section here. Seems big enough. Actually, this section is about my About section. That's about it there. So lorem ipsum is just filler text. It's just nonsense filler text. You just use it well, it's just filler text. That's exactly what it is. So there we go. Alright, so let's see view. Can I word wrap this? Section. And I would like to word wrap this, please. So panes. Can I has anyone figured out word wrap in this application? I don't know why it wouldn't be turned on by default. Go to selection, select grammar. Don't make me go into settings, please. Alright, I will. Alright guys, I checked under view. Can you guys see word wrap there? Am I being blind? Toggle soft wrap? Ooh. View. Yep, that's it. Thank you very much for that, guys. Toggle soft wrap. Perfect. So that's the word wrap. That's what they call word wrap in this. So toggle soft wrap. There we have it. So now I don't have to scroll left and right in this document. Excellent. All right, so there's our About section. Let's save that and we'll have a look. So far I've only got one section. Let's just take a look at what happens. So About, I'll refresh this. There we go. If I click on About, it will jump down to here. See how that link is working? And if I hover over that, you'll be able to see down here on the bottom right of my screen. You probably won't be able to read it on your systems, but you can see there that the full URL is saying index.com/hash about, and you can actually see it up here. See, if I put hash about section, boom, it will jump down there. Okay, that's how that works. All right, so let's add another section then. Let's add another section. Make this full screen for you. So another section, section, section ID is going to be, so this section is going to be my ticket section. TICKET This is also going to have a heading 2. And this heading 2 is going to be tickets. HTML Club 2.0 tickets, TICKETS. All right, and then we'll add another article in here as well, ARTICLE, article, and I'll just add that filler text in there as well. So Control C, Control V. So there we go. So now we've got a ticket section, and actually just so we can speed up this development a little bit faster, I'm actually just going to copy these from this point forward. So I've got my ticket section. Next one down, I'm going to have what's next down is going to be, so I've got section, I've got ticket section. Next one down is going to be the, I believe it was the gallery section, and then after that I had the testimonials, and then after that I had contact. So that was that. So contact section. And I'll just confirm, am I going in the right order? Contact, gallery, ticket. Yep. Ooh, I don't have a testimonial section here. Oh, I might as well take that out then. There we go. So contact section. And this one up here was going to be the gallery section. So that's it. So let's take a look. So I've got an about section, a ticket section, a gallery section, and a content section. That is absolutely perfect. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Now, there's one more thing. I want to jump back up to the top of the page as well. So what I will also do is I'll also give my header an ID. And I'll give that header an ID as well. So ID is also going to be, and I'll give this the ID of the home section. HOMESECTION. Yep. So nice and consistent. Perfect. So now let's see how we're looking. Let's refresh this page. So there we have it. So let's jump down to the About Us section. There we go. And everything is working fine. And that's all. That's so about HTML. And then we better add some titles in there as well. Better fix up those titles. So what would I call these then? So I've got my HTML Club tickets. Let's see, get down to the gallery section. And we'll call this the our student gallery. And the next one down will be contact us. There we go. So perfect, perfect. Actually, you know what? For the sake of HTML, what I would actually do is for the sake of SEO, sorry, I would actually give this a contact HTML 2.0. I'd actually give this the name of the club. Simply that because it's wrapped in a heading 2 tag would be very, very. It would be given a lot of weight inside the SEO. So if someone, I'm just thinking forward that if someone was looking to contact HTML Club 2, if someone's looking to contact my club, they'd probably type into Google contact HTML Club. So then that would target very well in the SEO. So there we go. Perfect. All right, so now we've got the bones of the HTML all set up. But now there's one more thing I want to add. There is one more thing I want to add. I want to add a bit of JavaScript to the end of this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the end and well, I need to add two things here. I'm going to be using jQuery. I'm going to be using jQuery as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some jQuery and we're going to add that in. But first I might as well add my script tag. So script, script src is going to be in my assets folder, ASSETS. It's also in the subdirectory of the JS. And then it was my js.js. And that was that. and that was fine, and that will just self-close. Now, the reason why I want to put my JavaScript at the end. Now, if you haven't taken web development, I'm sure if you do take web development, you'll be much better at JavaScript than I am. Now, as web designers, we always put our JavaScript, we always link to our JavaScript just before the closing body tag at the end. And the reason why we do this is because we are web designers and not really focusing on the JavaScript all too much. If the JavaScript loads too early, so if we put this script tag up here at the top with our CSS link, well, if that fires straight away and we're targeting something inside this page, well, it just won't work. All right, it just won't work. So we put our script tags down at the end. Now, there's one more thing I need to get. I need to get myself some jQuery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to jQuery. And actually, it's already loaded up. So I'm just going to type in jQuery, get to the jQuery site. There it is, jQuery. Perfect. Now, where is your CDN, sir? In fact, actually, I'll type jQuery CDN. jQuery CDN. So CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. And this is just so that we can hold these files up in the cloud. And there's a whole bunch of advantages to using a CDN. One of the biggest advantages to using a CDN is that if someone visits a site that has the same CDN link as you, the user won't have to download it again. So, you know, stuff like Bootstrap, when we start using Bootstrap, a CDN is very, very good for CDN is excellent for something like Bootstrap, because it means that if someone, you know, clears their browsing, clears their cache and everything like that, well, then all it takes is for them to go to Twitter once or Facebook once, and then they've already got the Bootstrap library loaded up on their computer, so they don't have to do it again. Why did I add an ID to my header? Up here, up to my home section. I did that so that there will link up to there. Now, it also means that I can put a back to top button at the end. So I could put a back to top link at any one of these as well, and then they'd be able to jump back up to the top. So that's just why I added that up there, just for that, so that link there would have something to go to. It's just thinking forward. All right, so there we go. So here's my hosted library. So let's see, where am I looking for? I'm looking for my jQuery. I'm gonna have to make this full screen. It's very difficult to read. There we go. Angular, nope. Angular material, nope. Dojo, no thank you. I would just like jQuery, thank you very much. jQuery 3.0, that's the one there. That's the script tag I need, hosted with Google, so almost guaranteed that it's hardly ever going to go down. So there we go. And I'll just copy that tag and I'll paste that right down here at the other links right there. Perfect. All right, so we'll save that. All right. The header ID is exactly the same as that one there. So the header ID is the home section. So the ID is equal to the home section. All right, so that's that there. So perfect. Now all I need is my JavaScript. So let me see. I've already found my JavaScript around the web someplace. So if I can just open up this new window again. And I'll be providing all these files anyway. These will all be up on your student dashboard tomorrow, along with the recording, so you'll be able to grab all the files. I recommend that you follow along with the recording and then take a look at the files afterwards if something's not working for you. But sure, it will be completely up to you. So let me just go back into my Google Drive and I'll find my HTML Club 2.0, because I got some JavaScript in here someplace, JS, and my script is here. So edit that with Notepad++, just take a look at it. So there we have it. So guys, this is the JavaScript that I'm going to be using. So this JavaScript function here will mean that it will slowly scroll down the page. So I don't actually have to know what this does. I don't have to really understand how this JavaScript works, because all I have to do is know how to use it. I know what it does, and I know what the effect is going to be, and I know how to include it, and that is good enough from a web design standpoint. So here we go. Assets, JavaScript. In fact, right here, JavaScript. There's my JavaScript file, and I'll just paste that in there. Control V. So there's my JavaScript function. Now I'll show you exactly what that's going to do now. So if I go back here, just make sure that everything's saved. Save, and then I will open up my Google Chrome browser again. Where are you? All right, so now let's see what happens. Hopefully this works. And there we go. So do you see the big difference there? It's going to slowly scroll down. Instead of just jumping down the page and you wondering, did the page change or what just happened, it's going to slowly scroll down to the section. Yeah, so that's the point of that. That's why I'm adding that JavaScript there. So if you have any kind of one-page website, you will want to include that JavaScript function. It's just kind of the standard of how we navigate one-page websites nowadays. So that is that. All right, perfect. So now we've got all that. Now it's time to move on to some styling. So now let's just quickly style up this page, and then we'll have a nice first HTML5 web page all up and running with all our new tags. So I'll click into my styles. There we go. So I'll click into my styles. And let's start adding some styles. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to target the whole body here. So I'm going to target the whole body. So I'm going to target my body first. I'll give this a margin of 0 auto. All right, so that's going to have a that's going to add a 0 margin to the top and bottom, automatic margin to the left and right. Padding is going to be 0. And this is actually really just to get rid of the browser default styling as well. My font family is going to be sans serif. And my background is going to be, I've already picked out a color for this. I'll go with F0A91B. Perfect. And I'll quickly show you. Ooh, jQuery will never go out of fashion there, Daniel. jQuery is one of the jQuery is just a fantastic JavaScript library. Their whole saying is write less, do more, and that's exactly what they provide. I can't imagine jQuery leaving anytime soon. But whatever JavaScript you write, and see, if I go back down here, scroll all the way down, and to increase this scroll speed. I'm grabbing here, the jQuery library is 3.1.0, so even when they update the JavaScript library, I'm still only going to be taking the version 3.1.0, so my JavaScript will always be, so even if they completely rip up the language and start something and do something crazy with it, my JavaScript in here will always be fine because it's just taking the 3.1.0 resource. Alright, so now let's see how we're looking. Now here we go. Command this window please. Show my students. There we go. There we go. So now I've got a background. Now the reason the way I took this color was I actually did this. If I go to color.adobe.com. So we all remember color.adobe.com, the Adobe color wheel and the Adobe color picker. Well, if you go up here on the right, you'll see this pick color create from image. So if I go to my HTML Club 2.0 assets, images, and if I upload my main header image here, well then what will happen is that it will start picking out colors there for me. So you can see it's actually giving me a color scheme based. It's giving me a color scheme based on my header image. So this is a fantastic feature of Adobe Color. So if you have a big header image, or especially what this is great for is that if you have a logo, yeah? So this is normally what I would do with any development project. My clients would normally already be an established business. They're just slow on the mark to getting a website. So the first thing I need is a high quality version of their logo, and I just plug it in here and I get a nice color scheme based off their logo. And I can choose all these different things as well. So colorful, bright, muted, deep, and dark. Yep. So I can't remember which one I chose to get that color scheme, but yeah, but there they are. Anyway, I'd already done that to grab our color scheme, so I rested with this color here, F0A91B, which gave us that kind of yellowish background color. There we have that. Okay, so now let's add some more styling here. So I've styled my body. Now I want to kind of condense all the content, yeah, because I don't want to scroll all the way to the left and the right. You can see my home is pushed right up against the edge of the screen here. That's not very good. It can be difficult to click for some people, and it can be difficult to read for others when it's pushed up too close to the edge. So now I'm going to start defining all my own styling. So WRAPPER. So I'm going to start my wrapper, because remember I wrapped all my content to my wrapper. So I've got my wrapper. I'm going to give all my content a width of 90%. A width of 90%. Well, there would still be a need for the color wheel because you might want to take one of the colors from your image and then still use the because if the logo say only had 2 colors or 3 colors, well then you could still take those 3 colors and then you could pick out a different color scheme yourself by picking out the dominant color and then picking out complementation colors and everything like that as well. But remember, you can do most of it by eye. Because color is absolutely subjective. Margin. So I'm going to add a bit of margin. Margin. Margin to my wrapper content as well, and my margin again is going to be 0 auto, AUTO. Alright, next one down, I'm going to add a background, BACKGROUND. Background is going to be white, FFF. And then next one down is going to be my box shadow, box, SHADOW. Box shadow, and let's, so what I want here, actually I'll just save this right here, save. I'll refresh this just so you can see what's going on. So you can see I'm adding all this stuff here. So now I've got my wrapper. So you see I've got a background. I've got a different color for my background. You can see I haven't made my image responsive yet, and you'll see that I've got all of this stuff here as well. Yes, I am of course recording this lesson, and if you go onto your Show Academy dashboard, you'll be able to catch this lesson tomorrow, and you'll be able to see some resource folders there as well. Alright, so here we go. So box shadow. So I want to add a box shadow just to add a little bit of material design. I'm not going to follow Google's material design processes, but I'm just going to add a little bit of box shadow anyway. So with this margin, this is adding margin to the top and bottom. This is adding margin to the left and right. So what I'm saying here is I want no margin on the top of the bottom, and I want to apply automatic margin to the left and right. So what's happening here, if you look here, I'm adding automatic margin to the left and right, so it's centering the content. So that's how we center block level elements. So because a div, this wrapper is attached to the div. This is a div with a class called wrapper, because that div is a block level element, and we can center block level elements by providing the property margin and the value 0 auto. So that's why we do that, to center our content, to center our block level elements. So box shadow, and same for images as well. So if you remember, if you want to center an image that doesn't have any then you can give it a margin 0 auto, and that will center the image on the page. So box shadow, it's going to have a 7 pixel horizontal offset, a 0 pixel vertical offset. We'll give it a 10 pixel blur radius, and we'll make it a black color, RGBA, but we're not going to make it absolute black. We're going to have a little bit of see-through on it, and we'll make it about 60% opaque. There we go, 0.6. Alright, now I also want to add another shadow, so that's going to throw shadow out to the right. Now I need to throw some shadow out to the left, so minus 7 pixels, 0 pixel vertical offset. We'll add a 10 pixel blur radius as well, and RGBA, and the same shadow again, so 0, 0, 0, and 0.6. There we go. So there we have that, and sorry, what did we say? View, toggle soft wrap, that's the one there. So perfect, let's save this and let's take a look at how this is looking. So there we have it. That shadow might still be a bit dark for this development, but sure, I'll let you guys play around with it anyway. So we're just really just messing around with the CSS, and you guys can really make this your own. And remember, you can completely step away from the Hidden Tiger Magic Line Club as well. The reason why I keep sticking to the Hidden Tiger Magic Line Club is because I'd rather not, because it means that you can take it and make it whatever you want. If you're passionate about shoes, make it about shoes. You're passionate about sailing, make it about boats. Make it about whatever you want at all. Your local church, your local community page, whatever you need. Alright. So now I'm running out of things to style already. So now I want to target each one of my sections, yeah? So now I've got a few more things. So let's see. This is a bit too close to the edge. I'm probably going to want to center that. Let's see, this image is far too big. What else? So the image is still far too big. I've got all this text. There's not enough padding between the text and its container. So let's start adding those as well. So let's go back into our index.html and let's start marking up some more of our things so we can target it easier for styling. Oh yes, and of course my navbar isn't even styled as well. So let us start with this. So we'll start by adding some classes to our sections. Actually, I don't even think we need classes. No need to add an extra code yet. Let's just see what happens. Ooh, actually I will. How many sections have I used? So I've used header and everything else section. Perfect. Excellent. Well, then I can just target that by going section. S-E-C-T-I-O-N. So each section is going to have a padding of 1%. 1% all round. So that's going to add padding of 1% to the top, bottom, left, and right. All right, so there's our padding. Yes, to all those questions that just came in, yes to all. Yes, you can do whatever you want. I'm just giving, this is just a quite simple demo, just so we're getting used to building a bigger project. Because as you saw, we built very small projects in the last one. There's no need to link down and do all that kind of stuff. But we're adding a bit more to this, and it takes a bit more to move left and right between our projects and adding classes and IDs and stuff like that. But whatever you want, you can add and change this up as much as you want, and I really would encourage you to do so. Alright, that dictates a class, guys. So the dot dictates a class. So there we go. Padding is 1%, and that is that. Next down. Alright, so next down. Let's say, so there we can see that the padding has been applied. There's my padding to the top and bottom, and to the left and right, so now it's moved away just a tiny bit. We do not use a full stop on the section because the section is a tag. Because the section is a tag, it's not a class, it's not an ID, it's a tag. So just like we can target any section by just typing its name, there's no need to put anything before it, so that's how we target a tag. A class is targeted by a dot, and an ID is targeted by a hash. So there we go. Section is going to be a padding of 1. What next down? So what else do we want to do? Well, let's target our header image, shall we? Let's target our header image. So let us target, let's see, what do we call this, anything special? Where's our header image? All the way back up. So header image. So I've given this a class of header image. So that's what I'm going to actually target here. So dot HEADER header image. IMAGE. And let's see, how can I style this then? How can I style this? I will give this a max height of 100 view heights. So that means that it's going to have a max height of the whole of this is going to have a max height of 100 view heights, which means that you see here, see the way the image is higher than the actual view, than the actual browser window height. Well, that's going to constrain it down there. So let's just see what happens there. Oh, nothing's happening yet. We're going to have to keep working, I think. So header image. Oh, sorry, I'm not actually targeting the image. Header image.img. So that's a max height of 100 view heights. Next one down, you can actually see it did actually target my header image class, because you can see it's actually targeted the section, but because the image is still that large, it's still going to do that. So let's just, so dot header image. So I want to target the image that sits inside some kind of container that has a class of header image. So there we go. So now we've got something that's fitting right inside my browser window. So it's got a maximum height there. Let's see, a color. Do I need to add a color? I don't think I need to add color or anything like that. I think that is good enough. Yeah. All right. So let's just add a, what else? I need a max width on this as well. So max. Whoops. Max. WIDTH is going to be max WIDTH is going to be 100%. Yes, you can, Aska. Yes, you can. I'd actually rather not show you. I'd actually rather not show you how to make that link. I would much rather. So, people are asking, how do we make the back to top link? I would actually love if you could take a look at our nav bar, yeah? So take a look at the way our nav bar links are structured and see if you can make it yourself, all right? That's what I'd love to see. See if you can make it yourself. And if you're still having trouble, if you haven't got it by tomorrow, well, then I'll send you the code. But really, I'd really like to see if you be able to figure it out from the nav bar that we have. See how those links are actually working, and then see if you can add a back to top anchor link someplace else. All right? And then if you can't get it, I'll give you the code, no problem. So there we go. So we've got a max width. Let's save that. Let's see how we're looking. There we go. So now we've got a nice page looking up. Now it's marking up quite nicely. So you can see how quickly we can actually get one of these things together. And we're actually running out of time. Ooh, we're running out of time. Is there anything else I really want to add here? I do want to style my navigation bar. So I'll just do that very quickly, guys. Sorry, I'm going to run over time. But what I'll do is I'm just going to quickly show you the code to style our navigation bar. So let's see. What do I have? I've got my nav. So I'm going to target my whole navigation bar to start with. Let's see, nav. So what do I want to do on my navigation bar? I want to add I'll just actually target just the links. So nav A, yeah. So there I'm targeting all anchor links that sit inside my nav tag. Alright, so I'm going to style all the anchor links inside my nav tag. Let's add a bit of padding around them. So padding. Padding is going to be 0.7%. So I won't add a full 1%. 0.7% top and bottom. And we'll go with maybe 2.5% to 2.5% left and right. There we go. Let's just have a quick preview. There we go. So now they're splitting up a bit more. Perfect. Next one down, I want to add a bit of margin as well between them. So margin, a bit of margin between these anchored links as well. And the margin will be 2% top and bottom, 1% left and right. All right, next one down, what else will we do? We'll change the color. Should we change the color? I won't change the color yet. I will change the text decoration though, because that's something that we just normally do with any kind of nav links. You see that underline up there? We don't want that at all. So let me just go to text decoration and I will say none. Yeah, and I'll just show you a preview here what's going to happen. So there we go. So you can still see they're clearly links because of this dark blue color, but I just wanted to get rid of those underlined things because it's not needed and they're just kind of look a bit ugly. And let's see, what else can we add? We'll add a border, B-O-R-D-E-R, a border top. A border top is going to be 3 pixels, SOLID, and we'll give this a, and actually, you know what? I'll let you guys pick out the colors yourself. I'm just going to give that a border top of solid black, and I'll give it a border bottom as well of the same, B-O-T-T-O-M, perfect. And then I think one more thing, and I think that's fine. I think that will do it there. Let's save that. Let's refresh the page, see how that's looking. So there we have that, and that's all that working for us there. All right, so I am having a little bit of trouble of why my image is pointed up so close to the top, but I'm sure we can figure that out anyway. So there we go, nav and A all done. Alright, well what I actually will do is I will target my nav as well, and I will add just a bit of margin, M-A-R-G-I-N, a bit of margin of, let's see, 1% top and bottom. Will that make a difference? Sorry, I'm just troubleshooting here. There we go, that's going to do it. So I'll add a bit of margin bottom, B-O-T-T-O-M, margin bottom of, say, I think it's going to have to go up to 2% to show me that end link, 2%. Yeah, there we go, so now I can see them there. Yeah, so do you see what's happening there? I've targeted, so because I'll just show you that just in case you didn't see. So I noticed that my nav bar is pushed right up against the image. There's a problem there. So what I've done is I've gone back up a level. So now I'm just going to target the whole nav container, which is this whole thing right here. Yeah, all the links together. So I'm going to target all of that and just add a bit of margin to the bottom of it, because I don't need to add any more margin to the top or to the left or the right, just to the bottom, and that should sort me out there like that. So let's just do that. And there we go, so we've moved down. So now we've got some space. Perfect. And now there's one more thing I want to do. Now that I've removed my underlines, let's just add a bit of hover styling as well. So now I'm just going to target my nav again, my nav and my anchor links. So I want to target, so every time someone hovers over an anchor link that sits inside a nav, that sits inside the nav container, it can be headered. I haven't told it to be. I haven't told my my header stuff to be centered. You can tell it to be centered, and you know what? We will do that just at the very, very last thing. But let's just go a nav, a hover, and what can we do? What can we do? Let's add a bit of box shadow just to make it look like it's lifting up a little bit. So box shadow is going to be SHADOW. Box shadow is going to be 0. 1 pixel blur, 1 pixel vertical offset, 1 pixel blur radius, and we will just make it, and we'll make it just red for argument's sake. There we go, just so we can have some kind of idea of what's going on. Let's add a text shadow, TXT, SHADOW, a text shadow, and you know what? We'll actually just take the exact same. And I think that's enough just to get you going, just to let your imaginations run. So let's just see what's happening. So now we got these, and now can anyone tell me what I'm missing? Can anyone tell me what I'm missing? What beautiful feature of CSS3 do I absolutely love? What property do I really, really love using? Can anyone guess what it might be? So what's happening is I'm hovering over these links, but they're kind of jumping out of me. Yeah, they're kind of jumping out of me. Yeah, so they're not transitioning. Yeah, so transition is that beautiful. Perfect. Oh, sorry, I jumped the gun there. But yes, I could see all your answers. There's no way you tried transition just as I said it. So perfect. You did get the answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition all these links as well. So TRANS and SITION. Transition all is going to be zero point 0.5 seconds. Yeah, so just zero point 0.5 seconds should get me there. Save, refresh, and there we have it. Yeah. And actually, you know what? I kind of like the way my navbar, because I haven't styled it enough, because I haven't added enough color and enough different things, because it looks very kind of text-based. I think I'm going to leave my navbar over here on the left. Well, sure. Let's see what it looks like in the center. Let's see what it looks like in the center. I'll target my header. Header. Text. ALIGN. It's going to be center. And let's just see what that looks like. We can make a design choice right now. Refresh. What do you guys think? Middle or left? I'll leave it up to you. I'll leave it up to you. I'm going to keep mine left for now. I'm going to keep mine left. I'm getting some mixed results. I'm getting some mixed results. A lot of you actually, I'm getting the most people like like center. But you know what? I'm actually going to leave mine left just because I don't really leave nav bars left all too often. I always put them right or center. But I'm going to keep mine left for now. I'm going to keep it left for now. Ooh, now I've changed my mind. Anyway, no, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. And I'll provide you with all this code. Now, how's the easiest way for me to get this code over to you right now? Well, the easiest way for me to get this code over to you right now is I'm going to create this little Facebook group. So here we go. Go onto my Facebook page. Whoop, take that away. And I will... So perfect. So guys, if you have any long questions, you can start typing them now. I'm quickly just going to create as a group because we have gone a good bit over time. We've gone over the 5-minute overtime mark. So there we go. Why is there a // after those things? Well, what's happening there is that self-closing, that auto-closing thing, is making my HTML XHTML possible. So in XHTML, it's a very strict form of HTML. When you have these self-closing tags in older versions, you used to have to put a / to dictate that it's a self-closing tag, that you're not going to have another tag. So you see the difference between heading 1, where we've got an opening tag, we've got a closing tag. This meta is a self-closing tag. This link is a self-closing tag, and an image is a self-closing tag as well. So for XHTML, you put a / at the end of it, but this auto-closer thing is doing it anyway. You still don't see the scrolling? You probably don't see the scrolling because of the lag, but can you see the way that when I click on a link, my page is actually scrolling down slowly? If I don't have that JavaScript in there, it just jumps to the next section. So that's what I do not want. Yeah, sure. I can share a list of packages. Like I said, I actually really wanted to use Aptana for this, but there was a lot of problems there. You need Java to run Aptana, and there was a lot of issues on this computer with it, which is a shame because I love using Aptana on my Mac. It's fantastic. But I'll give you all this code now in a second if I just create us a new group for us all. So where's my groups here? So groups. Interests, apps, friends, groups, more, please. There we go. Ooh, has Facebook changed up my layout a little bit? Ever so slightly. Create. There we go. That's what I want. Facebook, you're not fully responsive. All right, so guys, what should we call this group? Let's see, where are we at? We're in September, so we're September's class. What is September's child? SEPTEMBER's child. Let's just take a quick look. September's child is full of grace. Okay, so we are the grace class, okay? So let's see, what can we call this? We will call this the Ultimate Web Design Course Grace. All right, so guys, you are the Grace students. Grace students. Perfect. So UWDC Grace students. Oh, is that how I spelled it? Have I spelled Grace wrong? Grace? Is that how we spell Grace? I think it is. Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so I thought my spelling was acting up again. I'm sure you're all very, very used to my atrocious spelling errors that I have. All right, so this is going to be a closed group again. I'll add this to my favorites, and I'm going to send this out to you now in a second. So I'll create this group. Ooh, I need to add at least one friend. I'll add Julian, Julian. I'm adding Julian to all my groups. There we go. Yeah, you should have all the code from. Well, sorry, it will be all up on your dashboard, but it's not going to go up there tomorrow. So I'm just going to stick it. I'm going to send this out to you now. Anyway, I'm going to stick it into our Facebook group. If you just want to hold on just 2 seconds, I'm just going to set us up this Facebook group. Let's go with a. In fact, I'll let you guys. You know what? You guys are involved in this process. So, which icon do you think we should use? Which icon do you think we should use for this course? Should we have a guitar, a fish? I don't want to use the hat. That's too Shaw Academy. Light bulb. Light bulb. So far I'm getting light bulb. This is going to be this is going to be the group specifically for this class. All right. This is going to be the group specifically for this class. The skull. Yeah, all right. So we're going to go. I'm going to switch it between the computer chip, the light bulb, the planet, or the world. Rock on. Very good. All right, so I'm getting the most ones for light bulb and world. So now, guys, it's between light bulb and world. All right, so let's do it this way. Everyone who wants light bulb, press 1. Everyone who wants world, press 2. All right, okay. All right, okay. This is getting it's right down the middle. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go with the where's the world? Where's the world? I think I'm going to go with the world. I think the worlds do have it. So let's see. Where's the world? If you can tell me the line, there it is. Perfect. Yeah. So that's going to be a world. Hello, world. Perfect. All right. So we'll be able to do the rest of this later. So we'll be able to start styling all this up later. Let me just copy this. Copy groups. All right. I'm going to send this all out to you now. So let me just see here. Where's my Citrix system? There it is. I'll send this out to the entire audience. So there you go, guys. That's our new Facebook group. I'm going to switch up that name. I'll give this a meaningful name. Can I do that right now, actually? Let's see. Manage group. Let's see. Can I add some? Oh, very quick, guys. Very, very quick off the mark there. Oh, 22 people. Ooh, it's a new record for setting up a group, I think. Less than a minute. We've got 22 people in the group. I'm going to have to open up another page, I think. All right. So, guys, listen, thank you very, very much. I'm going to keep letting you add, so you can just link yourselves to that group. I'll put a link up there on I'll put a link up there on your notes. Just let me just confirm that you have got last lessons, shawacademy.com, please. I'm sure that you should have got last lessons resources up there. I'm just going to confirm now, so log in. Bryan Hurley. And we want to go we want to go into advanced web design. Yes, that is absolutely normal. You can't see anybody else's questions on here. Let's see. So there we go. So Introduction to Web Design, Ultimate Web Design course, Ultimate Web Design program. Sorry about all the names, guys. But here's our resources tab. So you can see the lesson 1 resources are there. And I have requested that we have them in the Google Drive because we do a lot more on this course and we change things up and then students request something. So I like to be able to drop files in and out if I need to. So you'll find some things in here. You'll find the document from last month. Yeah. So here's the document from last month, which still kind of pertains to this month. The only thing you don't need out of this document is the brackets. Yeah. Everything else is still very good links. You'll find your Ultimate Web Design resource application links here. So a nice cleaner version of that document. So these are all the stuff that you will need. And then of course I've got the all HTML elements. So again, if someone out there hasn't taken my Introduction to Web Design course, I would recommend you audit it somehow, but do scroll down. If you do have experience with HTML before, scroll down to the end of this HTML tag document and take a look at all of these tags wrapped up in red. You cannot use any of these anymore. In fact, you certainly cannot use any of these in our class. In fact, actually, sorry, I'm just remembering now, someone actually just caught my eye there. Frame. You cannot use frame, you cannot use font tags, you cannot use directory tags. Now these are only for in your HTML, guys, so these are HTML tags. You can't use these to wrap anything. Alright, so if you do have experience with HTML, open up that document from your resource folder, scroll down to the end there to find your red tags and take a look at them. So I'm sure if you do have experience with HTML, you'll be utterly disappointed to see that the center tag has been deprecated. Yep, center tag's been deprecated, marquee is being deprecated, styling tags, strike has been deprecated. What else? What are the other big ones there? Font has been deprecated, and blink as well. Yeah, so perfect. All right. Perfect. Yeah, you'll get the discount should actually be on. Ooh, I'll send out the discount to you now. I'll send out your GoDaddy discounts as well. Just 2 seconds. If I can just get into one of my course here, should provide me with the advert at the top. There it is. I'll just copy this link, copy link address. I'll post this up here to see what that is doing. And yes, I'll do that exactly. So let me just send that link. How can I do this? Actually, I'll just make sure that this link is still valid because I know that we're updating these. Ooh. All right. Well, if you want to send me an email about your GoDaddy link, if you join any of the introduction to web design course, you'll get that there as well. The center tag actually got deprecated back in HTML version 4, so we got rid of all the styling tags because HTML is to structure and define to structure our HTML documents. So we got rid of all the styling so that we can section it all off. And what that means is that websites are getting so much more complicated as times move on. So if you want to have a site that you want to update next year and all of a sudden crazy new technologies allow amazing new stuff, well then you might want to collaborate with someone. So you might want a developer, which makes it much easier because they just go open to the JavaScript files. They can see all your JavaScript. They don't have to mess around the HTML. They don't have to mess around in the CSS. So if something is centering on the page, they know that is in the CSS file. If I want to make that align right, I go to the CSS and it aligns right. And that's why we mix it all together. You didn't get the Facebook link? I sent it out there to the entire audience. Let me just do it this way. It will be in tomorrow's notes anyway. The Facebook link will be in tomorrow's notes. Let me just see. Can I actually just make this an easier name? Manage group, edit group settings. I know there's a way for me to add a custom address. That's where I want. All right, so we will call this. This will be the Ultimate Web Design Course Grace. GRACE. Yep. There you go, guys. So if you want to go to fb.com, so it's fb.com/groups/UWDC Grace. So the Ultimate Web Design Course Grace, because you guys are going to be my Grace students, all right? So UWDC Grace, all right? So I'll just say that out to you one more time. So if you've got a pen and paper, or just open up a notepad, or just open up your browser, and if you type www.fb.com/groups/UWDC Grace. Yeah, and you can work with or without the capital letters. So yes, that's perfect. Great. Our group is populating. So we'll style all this up. And then we'll start populating this as well. Again, I'll actually post all our. So what I'll do is I'll post. If you haven't already, join Bryan's Design Resources. That's where I'll post our Atom stuff. This group is going to be specifically for this class. So this is where you can share your projects, and this is where you can stay in touch after the course is over. Depending on what you want to do. But I will stick some my favorite Atom packages under Bryan's Design Resources, if that's okay. So perfect. I haven't posted the code yet. I will once all these things are. Oh, that should be done now. All right. I said there's so many people trying to join, so I'm just going to stop approving people for now, just so I can add a file here. Let's see if I minus. Oh, open back up Atom, please. Atom. Save. That should be everything saved there. Close. And what I'll do is I'll package up the HTML Club 2.0, and I will compress this, send to zip file, compress zip file. There we go. And if I drop this in here, let me see, files. I would like to upload a file, and I would like to upload this file here. How big are you? Ooh, am I pushing it? Possibly. R HTML Club CLUB 2.0 dev. Hopefully this will work. I might have to remove the images. Hopefully it will work though. It's only a bunch of text and 2 images, so it shouldn't be that large at all. Perfect. Excellent. So there it is, guys. So you'll be able to find those files there under the actually it's there on the timeline. You'll also be able to find any files to put there under the files as well. All right. All right. So those files are actually the same as the ones from the last lesson. All right. The files are the same as the one from last lesson. Between you and me, I don't think I'm actually meant to be sent you out the slides and stuff like that. So let's keep that between us. That I sent you out the lesson 1 slides. All right. Okay. So we'll keep that between us. All right. But anyway, you can find the flowchart from your lesson 1, and you can find that HTML thing from your lesson 1 as well. And you'll also find all the HTML tags in your resource folder as well. So just like web designers, we are going to be working all over the place. So I'm going to get you used to multitasking on this. We're working out in multiple groups, multiple applications, multiple platforms. That is what a web designer does. They completely just go all over the web, and they make the most out of everything that they can find. So we're going to really start multitasking on this course. Don't worry, you will get the hang of it. You will get the hang of it as we're moving forward. So guys, I can't wait to start seeing your designs. You should be able to I wouldn't actually email brian.hurley at shawacademy.com. You can get me there, but I'd much rather if you sent it to web.design@shawacademy.com. It's just for our own kind of services to understand, because I answer all the coding questions. But if you have a support issue, if it's a specific, if you're absolutely sure that it's a specific coding question, well then sure, send it on to brian.hurley@shawacademy.com. If you email well, if you're not getting a response with your coding questions, email brian.hurley@shawacademy.com. If you have a problem with support or anything else, or if you can't find something on your dashboard, do send it to web.design@shawacademy.com, because that will, because a number of people are able to see that account and able to get back to you depending on what the query is. All right. So that's no problem. If you want to send an email to me directly there, Susan, I should be able to see it. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. Oh, Susan, you still haven't received that? All right, Susan. Well, you will receive it by tomorrow morning. I'm going to have to check into that again. I wonder why it's not sending it. I'll just re-export that and I'll send that off to you again. Anyway, you should have it definitely by tomorrow morning then. All right, guys. So listen, have a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and a very good night, everybody. I'll see you next class.